Hey everybody, it's Phil Bruce here, and today I want to talk about a topic and a subject that I find quite common within the exercise instructing realm, within teaching classes. And what it is you get members, you get clients that come to you when you're trying to get them into a class, and they always come out by saying, I'm not fit enough to do the class. When I'm fitter, I'll have a go at the class. When I feel stronger, when I feel better, I'll go and do your class. I'll give it a go. I'll give it an attempt. I just don't feel ready yet. And we need to kind of get over this little myth and debunk this myth of that you're not fit enough or you don't feel ready to start a class yet. Because what we tend to think is exercise classes, let's say spin, let's say Pilates, aerobics, aqua, yoga, whatever it is, boogie bounce, Zumba. People think that you've got to have a certain level of fitness to do them. You've got to be good enough to do the classes, to be able to start the classes. And that's not true, because we've got to remember that everybody starts somewhere. You know, you're never going to be an expert at a class. You're never going to be the fittest or the strongest or the best at that class until you actually do it, until you actually take part, until you make the mistakes, until you feel like fatigued and tired and knackered and shattered and all that, until you feel like you're learning something and doing it. The only way you're going to get fitter and stronger and ready for something is by giving it a go. And I think a lot of that comes from a psychological element. So they could have had an injury, they could have put on some weight over a certain time, maybe due to injury, maybe due to not training or whatever it is, or maybe they are very shy and lack confidence and they don't feel like they can push themselves to do something without someone motivating and somebody helping. So I think it's getting that understanding that when someone says they're not ready, they're not confident, they're not fit enough, there's not just the fitness realm to it. There's so many elements to work on. So there's that psychological aspect, that mindset. Can you encourage the person to work on that mindset and be more positive? Can you motivate them and think like, to really tell them that it doesn't matter how they get on that first time, that second time, that fifth time, or whatever it is. It's more the fact that they're starting. You could maybe look at saying that it's about focusing on themselves rather than focusing on a group, because what people tend to do is they compare themselves to others. So say if there's 10 people in a spin class, you'll go on the bike, and as a member, it is very typical to compare yourself to the other 9 that are on the bike and the instructor. And I mean, I've done it as well as an instructor, is when I've taken a class and you see someone that's more competent than you doing it, which can happen. You know, you do kind of have that comparison thing, and you kind of can get frustrated about it, but it's also learning that, I mean, as an instructor, it's not my workout, so to speak, even though it is. It's about getting the most out of it for the members. Yes, I'm working out and getting fit, I'm getting strong, I'm getting healthy, I'm improving, but I'm detailing it to the members, to the clients. And if it's someone that's lacking that motivation or lacking that kind of the thought process of being able to get into a workout, what you could do is you could say to that client, that member, it doesn't matter about the others. Don't compare yourself to the others. Focus on you. Even if, let's use the spin class as an example, even if you didn't feel confident and able to stand up and pedal, get them to focus on the sitting down element. Or if they just want resistance work rather than sprint, get them to do just resistance, or get them to put half resistance on instead of full resistance. So there's ways around it, and I think we need to, as people that aren't confident to take part of class, we've got to have that realization that the only way we're going to get better is by just getting ourselves in there, getting ourselves around into the right atmosphere, the right environment. And I do think that the person that's teaching the class, the instructor or the trainer, if you're doing a PT session, it's really important to get on with them as well, and to feel confident around them and build a rapport and a relationship with them. Because if they know how you're feeling and you're really open and honest with them and trusting of them, they can help to kind of build that for you. They can help to build your confidence. They can help to monitor and detail the workout around you in a way. They realise that there's certain moves that you can't do, so they could give you alternatives, or they could, detail it so there's certain exercises that are done in the workouts that they think you can do. So there's definitely ways around it, but I do think mindset's a big thing, and I do think it's a case of working on your own mindset if you're struggling with the confidence. Whether that be reading, studying, watching stuff on YouTube, whether it's listening to a podcast, whether it's doing self-hypnosis, whether it's doing, breath work, whether it's doing the meditation or positive reinforcement talking. I do think we need to take that ownership as well in being able to help ourselves, because it can't just be down to someone else to make you feel better or more confident. It's got to be down to you. It's got to be up to you to want to change that. So I do feel like we need to get over this kind of thing of not feeling ready, but especially if it's a workout you do want to do, I think you've just got to brave it and do it. And I think you've just got to, even if, let's go back to the spin class, it's a case if you're going to bike on your own, or you're going to bike with a one-on-one with an instructor, a coach, a friend, and they help you to set it up, and just practicing the moves, practicing and getting used to the resistance and how to set it up. Those little things will then help you to the bigger detail of joining the class and joining the workout, getting you to feel better. And I think another point to kind of work on with that is the factor of thinking about how you'll feel after you've done it, after you've managed to achieve it. So, for example, if I've got the afterthought of, once I've done this workout, I'm going to feel so much better. Yes, I might feel tired and shattered and knackered, but I'm going to feel better that I've done it. I'm going to be more confident in it next time. I'm going to be positive that I know how to do this, that I've started somewhere. And that is a great feeling to have, and it's reinforcing that and visualising that once you've done the workout, that's what you can feel and get ready for the next time, whilst understanding as well that there will be mistakes, there will be elements where you're not quite as ready as what you feel, or you're not quite as good or quite at that level, and that only comes with time and experience. And I do want to caveat this whole point of making sure that we're not doing a class or joining in it if we've got an injury or an illness that is going to affect how you do the workout. So, for example, again, let's relate it to a spin class. I wouldn't recommend someone doing a spin class if they've had an operation on the leg, or they've pulled the quad and they're not ready to train and exercise yet. Or if we're doing a Pilates class and say you've pulled your hamstring or your back and you can't stretch without hurting it, without making it worse. So I would put that caveat to it, but I do think that we need to help people and help ourselves to get out of this notion of delaying doing a class, delaying taking part in something because we're not ready in our heads, or we don't feel ready. I think we have got to help people to take the plunge, and I think ourselves, we have got to, whether it's, as I say, in a smaller environment to begin with and then build up, but I think we have got to get to that level where we do push ourselves and we just go for it and we see the results from it as a consequence. So yeah, I just thought you'd hopefully find this small little video useful and helpful for if you feel like you are wanting to do a class but you're not feeling ready yet. Hopefully this has helped to build that confidence in a way and help you to realise that the people in the class are focusing on themselves. They are not focusing on you. They are not worried about you, in the sense of they are not looking at you and thinking, oh, they're struggling, they're not good enough, they're this and that. Let's be honest, most people focus on themselves, but a good instructor and a good coach will be able to help you out. So yeah, hope you found that useful. I hope you're having a good start to the week and a good week so far. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. So until then, bye for now.